The overwhelming sense of shock lingered in Xiao Yan's heart for a long time. He finally understood why the Immortal Emperor had treated him with such kindness. It became clear that, for reasons unknown, his ancestor Xiao Yan had the opportunity to seize the immortal sacred flame, but instead, he relinquished that chance, allowing the Immortal Emperor to claim it. This act paved the way for the Immortal Emperor's rise to fame. According to the Immortal Emperor's story, at that time, his physical body had been destroyed by the immortal sacred flame, leaving only his soul. Xiao Yan, a true Dou Xian, could have easily subdued the flame himself. Yet, after helping the Immortal Emperor reconstruct his body, Xiao Yan gave the flame the choice of selecting its master. In the end, the immortal sacred flame chose the Immortal Emperor, and Xiao Yan departed with grace. Although Xiao Yan didn't know all the details, the Immortal Emperor's deep respect for his ancestor and the way he treated Xiao Yan made it clear that the story was true. Moreover, Xiao Yan's magnanimity left even Xiao Yan in awe. After your ancestor Xiao Yan left, my strength skyrocketed after I absorbed the immortal sacred flame. I broke through the 9-star Dou D level and entered the 9-turn realm in one go. Just as I was preparing to seek out your ancestor to repay his kindness, word suddenly spread that the Xiao clan had been jointly hunted by the 7 realms. And simultaneously, the extraterritorial evil clan launched a massive invasion. In the end, I was ambushed by the extraterritorial evil clan and perished in battle. Though, it seems some forces in the 7 realms may have had connections with the extraterritorial evil clan. After all, the timing of the clan's attack and the Xiao clan's persecution was far too coincidental, the Immortal Emperor said, lost in thought. Understood, Xiao Yan responded gravely, carefully noting every word in his heart. But I still want to thank your Xiao clan. If it weren't for your ancestor Xiao Yan, the world might never have heard of the Immortal Emperor, he said, his tone softening noticeably, showing warmth because Xiao Yan was a descendant of the Xiao clan. Moments later, the Immortal Emperor's expression darkened, as if recalling something unpleasant. Senior, Xiao Yan, noticing the shift in the Immortal Emperor's mood, spoke cautiously. It's nothing, just some unpleasant memories. The Immortal Emperor murmured, clearly thinking of the extraterritorial evil clan. Their terrifying power was enough to strike fear even into someone as mighty as him. However, these matters are not something you need to concern yourself with yet, the Immortal Emperor said calmly. But you, young one, are truly impressive. At such a young age, you've already acquired remarkable flames. While they may not be as strong as sacred flames, they are still exceptional, even enough to make me wary. What confuses me the most, though? Before I fell, I received news that the Xiao clan had been hunted by the 7 realms, so how could there still be a Xiao clan descendant? Where exactly did you come from? The Immortal Emperor asked, clearly wanting answers now that he had confirmed Xiao Yan's heritage. To be honest, I ascended from the Dou Qi continent, Xiao Yan replied frankly, feeling that he could trust the Immortal Emperor. After all, he was merely a remnant soul. Dou Qi continent? Impossible. During the Great War thousands of years ago, all the Dou Di energy from the lower and middle dimensions was depleted. It should be impossible for anyone to ascend as a Dou Di, the Immortal Emperor firmly denied. My disciple wouldn't lie, came a deep, resonant voice. At that moment, the Golden Dragon King materialized above Xiao Yan, his majestic form unmistakable. Golden Dragon King? The Immortal Emperor's pupils contracted as he recognized the figure before him. The Immortal Emperor could not mistake the aura of the Golden Dragon King, who had once been the strongest among the dragon race. The Immortal Emperor clearly remembered the major contributions the Golden Dragon King and the Xiao clan had made during the war against the extraterritorial evil clan. Yet, despite their heroism, the Xiao clan had been jointly hunted by the 7 realms, and the Golden Dragon King had disappeared after the war, with rumors claiming he had fallen in battle. What are you doing here? The Immortal Emperor asked in shock. The Xiao clan still has descendants. Don't forget, the human realm holds a middle dimension, the Dou Qi continent. The Xiao clan's bloodline originated from there, though the Dou Qi continent has been without a Dou Di ascendant for thousands of years, so it has gradually been forgotten. But that doesn't mean there's no Do-D energy there. Plus, there are Emperor-tier medicinal pills, so? The Golden Dragon King smiled faintly. This boy really does have many secrets. The Immortal Emperor remarked with a sigh. The Immortal Emperor was fully aware of the true power of the Golden Dragon King, standing before him. The strongest entity in the Dragon Clan, capable of rivaling even the king-level figures of the extraterritorial Evil Clan. His might was likely close to that of a Doshan. The Immortal Emperor silently marveled at the sheer power of the Dragon King. Hee, since that's the case, the Immortal Emperor said softly, time is running short. I shall gift this 10-star Do-D body to this descendant of the Xiao clan, repaying the kindness shown to me by Xiao Yan. His voice was calm, but the significance of his words was immense. As soon as the Immortal Emperor finished speaking, the golden body in the hall began to emit a faint, invisible energy ripple. The waves expanded slowly, filling the entire space. What an intimidating energy ripple! Xiao Yan stared at the golden body, his senses tingling. He realized that if even the slightest bit of that energy touched him, his current defenses would be shattered, and he would be severely injured or even killed. The Immortal Emperor was indeed a terrifying existence. These are simply defensive measures protecting the 10-star Do-D body, the Immortal Emperor explained, his voice gentle. Go on, Xiao Yan, the Immortal Emperor continued, with a deep, affectionate tone in his voice, his gaze growing profound. Thank you, Senior. Xiao Yan responded, bowing deeply toward the Immortal Emperor before slowly walking toward the golden body in the center of the hall. This is the 10-star Do-D body? Xiao Yan murmured as he approached, noticing strange markings and patterns etched into the golden body. Judging from his assessment, not even his most powerful attacks would leave a scratch on this formidable body. What an indestructible Do-D body! Xiao Yan marveled, his voice trailing off as he stared in awe. Thanks to his sharp perception, Xiao Yan could sense the overwhelming power hidden within the seemingly small golden body. Even the Flame Emperor body he had created back on the Do-Chi continent paled in comparison. It wasn't even a fraction as powerful. With a smile, Xiao Yan extended his hand, which was enveloped in a faint milky white flame, and gently reached for the immortal body. Swoosh! The moment his hand touched the golden body, an intense repulsive force pushed him away, preventing Xiao Yan from making contact. This immortal body seems to be resisting me. Xiao Yan frowned, muttering under his breath. Hee, this is the 10-star Do-D body, the pinnacle of its class. If it didn't have special defenses, it wouldn't be anything extraordinary, the Immortal Emperor remarked. Use your soul power to enter the body and condense a soul rune at its forehead. Once you've done that, you will gain full control over the body, the Immortal Emperor instructed. Understood. Xiao Yan nodded and closed his eyes, preparing to channel his vast soul power. Hee, that immortal body of yours is indeed formidable. I remember the great battles you fought against the extraterritorial Evil Clan, the Golden Dragon King remarked quietly. Meanwhile, the Immortal Emperor's residual soul and the Golden Dragon King seemed to be having a private conversation, though Xiao Yan didn't bother listening. He guessed it was likely about something important and confidential, so he focused entirely on the task before him. The Do-D body was a technique that only Do-D experts could employ. It allowed them to create a massive energy giant around themselves, significantly enhancing both their offensive and defensive abilities. Xiao Yan eagerly channeled his soul power, which surged toward the golden body with tremendous force. Crackle! The moment his soul power made contact with the golden body, a golden light shimmered across its surface, resisting Xiao Yan's intrusion. At the same time, an indescribable pressure emanated from the body, weighing down on him. Whoosh! What a terrifying pressure! Xiao Yan's left knee buckled under the immense force, bringing him to the ground. But this isn't enough. Xiao Yan gritted his teeth, and the clan mark on his forehead began to glow, releasing a burst of energy. With great effort, he lifted his knee, fighting against the pressure, and increased the intensity of his soul power. Moments later, his overwhelming soul energy penetrated the golden aura surrounding the body, breaking through and flooding into the immortal body. The instant his soul power entered the golden, transparent body, the previously daunting pressure vanished entirely, as if the body had acknowledged Xiao Yan's authority. "Condense!" Xiao Yan shouted, his soul power converging at the body's forehead. In the blink of an eye, a mysterious soul rune began to form under Xiao Yan's control at the body's brow. Hoo-hoo! Xiao Yan exhaled heavily as he watched the rune take shape. The effort of creating the rune had drained nearly all of his soul power, leaving him panting and exhausted. He sat down abruptly, catching his breath. Though it had seemed like a simple task, the process of condensing the soul rune had nearly depleted him. Xiao Yan had no doubt that if he had taken just a little longer, the consequences could have been disastrous. Fortunately, he had managed to complete the task in time. "Now that you've formed the rune, the immortal body is yours. I hope it will shine even brighter in your hands." The Immortal Emperor's gentle voice echoed in Xiao Yan's ears. Xiao Yan nodded in acknowledgement, his eyes fixed on the golden, transparent body in front of him. Since forming the rune, he could feel a deep connection with the body, as though it was now an extension of himself. After a brief rest, Xiao Yan knew there was no time to waste. He immediately set to work absorbing the immortal body, fully aware that doing so would take a considerable amount of time given the sheer power of the body. Swoosh! Without hesitation, Xiao Yan opened his mouth, and a powerful suction force began to draw the immortal body into him. As the body entered Xiao Yan's form, a surge of ancient and immortal energy radiated outward, filling the room. At the same time, Xiao Yan's bones began to creak and groan under the pressure of the body's immense power. It was clear that the strength of the immortal body far exceeded his expectations. Damn it! At this rate, my body is going to explode? Xiao Yan realized he had underestimated the difficulty of absorbing the immortal body. Just as he was nearing desperation, the Xiao clan mark on his forehead began to glow with immense power. The struggling immortal body, sensing this power, immediately calmed down, like a deflated balloon, and gradually settled into a quiet state. Xiao Yan, though puzzled, didn't have the luxury of time to dwell on his confusion. He closed his eyes, calmed his mind, and sat down on the ground. Gradually, a golden light mixed with a hint of immortality began to appear around him. A large, ethereal figure slowly started to manifest around Xiao Yan, growing larger with each passing moment. 1 zhang, 2 zhang. When the golden energy giant surrounding this boy reaches a height of 100 zhang, it will mean he has succeeded, the Immortal Emperor said softly. Indeed, the Golden Dragon King replied, satisfied with Xiao Yan's progress. The two continued discussing some matters, after which the space returned to a state of tranquility. Boom, boom, boom. Outside the hall, only Mu Shuzi and Elder Zhu waited. Someone has obtained the immortal body, Elder Zhu stated definitively. Having entered the Immortal Emperor's resting place when he was younger, Elder Zhu was intimately familiar with the aura emanating from within. What terrifying youngsters! Elder Zhu chuckled. I wonder which lucky one managed to obtain it. Senior Zhu, won't this news reach the Xinling royal family? After all, the river of Dodi was built with their help, Mu Shuzi asked worriedly. Let them know if they wish. Elder Zhu replied with pride. Do they think the incense pavilion has no docian? At these words, an aura of confidence filled the hall. Could it be that the pavilion master? Mu Shuzi laughed knowingly. He was well aware of the immense weight a docian carried. With a docian supporting them, no external threat could pose a significant problem to the incense pavilion. Report. Outside a lavish room belonging to the Xinling royal family, a servant hurriedly approached, his expression full of anxiety. Speak, the Xinling king commanded. Upon hearing his voice, the group of women surrounding him immediately fell silent, knowing that their king's temper could change in an instant. The immortal body within the incense pavilion, the servant whispered hesitantly. It seems their disciple has obtained it. Boom. A terrifying pressure erupted from the room, the sheer force of it sending waves through the air. What? The Xinling king roared, the atmosphere turning suffocating as his aura soared. In a flash, he appeared before the servant, grabbing him by the collar and lifting him off the ground, his eyes filled with rage. "Say that again." The Xinling King's furious voice reverberated throughout the room and beyond. "The immortal body within the incense pavilion has been obtained by their disciple," the servant repeated, his voice trembling with fear. Crack! The sound of bones breaking echoed as the Xinling King's grip tightened, reducing the servant to nothing more than dust. "Damn that incense pavilion, ruining my plans." The Xinling King snarled, glaring in the direction of the pavilion with murderous intent. At his level of strength, there were few things that piqued his interest, but the immortal body was one of them. He had devised countless plans to obtain it, believing that with the immortal body, he could break through and reach the Douxian level. However, for reasons unknown, he had been unable to locate the immortal body's resting place, as though it had been hidden from him. And now, it had been claimed by a disciple of the incense pavilion, igniting a fury within him. The unfortunate servant had been destroyed by the Xinling King's rage. After all, the servant was not even a Dou-Di and couldn't withstand the wrath of a peak Dou-Di. It seems advancing to Douxian is now a necessity. Otherwise, even the one in the Temple of Offerings will grow dissatisfied with me. The Xinling King muttered to himself. After those words, his figure vanished mysteriously from the room. Within the incense pavilion, Mu Yingying, Lu Di, Mu Feng, and Little E had all returned, with only Xiao Yan still in the river of Dou-Di. However, none of the four had disappointed Mu Shuzi, as each had successfully acquired a 6-star Dou-Di body. Even more impressive, Mu Yingying had obtained a 7-star Dou-Di body. This left Mu Shuzi, who was known for his high standards, extremely pleased. After all, even Elder Zhu only possessed a 7-star Dou-Di body himself. "It seems the immortal body is undoubtedly Xiao Yan's," Elder Zhu commented. "Immortal body? What's that?" Mu Yingying asked curiously, her lips parting slightly as she stared in confusion. "The immortal body is, quite simply, the most terrifying Dou-Di body in the river of Dou-Di," Mu Shuzi explained slowly. "In other words, it is the 10-star Dou-Di body." At Mu Shuzi's words, the four disciples around him erupted in disbelief. "A 10-star Dou-Di body?" they exclaimed in unison, their faces filled with shock. Upon obtaining their Dou-Di bodies, they had come to realize just how formidable these bodies were. The strength of a 6-star Dou-Di body alone was overwhelming. What kind of unimaginable power would a 10-star Dou-Di body possess? "Let's wait a little longer," Mu Shuzi said, his gaze fixed on the river of Dou-Di. The others nodded in agreement. "Big Brother is truly still the best," Little E said softly. In a distant, dark, and eerie void, atop a sinister altar filled with thick, ghostly mist, two familiar figures appeared at the center. Hong Yi and Yuquan Ghost Spirit. "Are you sure about this?" Hong Yi asked after a moment of contemplation. After all, Yuquan Ghost Spirit's plan sounded utterly insane. "I'm about 60% confident," Yuquan replied slowly. 60%. Hong Yi shook her head but said nothing more, her gaze fixed on Yuquan Ghost Spirit. After they fled the Ainshur forest, they found a dark and secluded place to recuperate, and only recently had they fully healed. Now they had returned to Red Mountain, where Yuquan had set up a sinister formation atop its peak. The mountain peak was now shrouded in eerie ghostly energy, and at its center, a creepy formation was beginning to activate, giving Hong Yi a sense of unease. Looking over at Yuquan, Hong Yi noticed how his body had become severely decayed, almost beyond recognition as human. He looked terrifying. "Let's hope this works." Hong Yi bit her lip and glanced at a corpse nearby. It was the body of her lover. If Yuquan succeeded, resurrecting him would be much easier. According to ancient texts, the twin ghost emperors possessed mysterious powers that could bring the dead back to life, which was why she had made a deal with Yuquan. Moreover, with the soul of one of the twin ghost emperors residing within Yuquan, he was destined to become the next twin ghost emperor, giving Hong Yi no other choice but to cooperate. "Get ready. Once I fully devour the twin ghost emperor's soul, combining it with the other half I already possess, I'll be even stronger than the original twin ghost emperor," Yuquan said, his eyes glinting as he spoke to Hong Yi. "Understood," Hong Yi nodded, setting down her lover's body and stepping into the center of the formation to face Yuquan. I'm starting now. I'll be counting on you to keep watch, Yuquan said, closing his eyes as a dark and evil aura began to emanate from his body. To think he's already at the perfect 6-star Do-D level, Hong Yi muttered to herself, surprised by how much Yuquan had grown. He had been a 5-star Do-D when they first met, but after devouring half of the twin Ghost Emperor's soul, he had ascended to a near-perfect 6-star Do-D level, truly shocking. Swoosh! Suddenly, Yuquan raised his decayed hand, and in it appeared a blood-red heart, pulsing with eerie energy. The twin Ghost Emperor's heart? Hong Yi gasped, her pupils contracting. She had only ever heard of this artifact, never seen it. It was said that every Ghost Emperor, upon their death, left behind their soul. Using special techniques, one could extract the Ghost Emperor's heart from the soul. This heart was the core source of a Ghost Emperor's power. Whoever absorbed it would become a new Ghost Emperor. So, this is the Ghost Emperor's heart, Hong Yi whispered, watching the heart pulse rhythmically with an otherworldly beat. The sound of its heartbeat made her own Do-Chi feel as if it had momentarily frozen. You are mine, Yuquan declared, without hesitation, opening his mouth wide and swallowing the Ghost Emperor's heart whole. As soon as the heart entered his body, a terrifying aura erupted from the top of Red Mountain. Blood-red light shot toward the sky, but before it could fully manifest, the formation beneath Yuquan absorbed the energy, feeding it back into him in a continuous cycle. Hong Yi stepped out of the formation and stood guard beside it. I don't know how long this will take, but I hope you succeed. If you betray me, know that I've prepared for that as well, Hong Yi muttered to herself before leaving the area with her lover's body. The peak of Red Mountain soon fell silent once more. Days passed, and before long, a full month had elapsed since Xiao Yan entered the river of Do-D. During that month, the Xinling royal family's emissaries visited the incense pavilion to inform them that the promised access to the Xinling imperial pool was ready. All the incense pavilion had to do was prepare. Xiao Yan, Mu Yingying, and Mu Feng had all qualified to enter the pool. However, Xiao Yan had yet to emerge from the river of Do-D, delaying their plans. The other 4 had returned after 10 days, but Xiao Yan remained inside. Both Elder Zhu and Mu Shuzi were growing weary of waiting, knowing they had many other matters to attend to. Waiting for Xiao Yan again? A cheerful voice echoed through the hall. Little Yi appeared, grinning. Nearby, Mu Yingying was also present. Don't say such nonsense. I just wanted to see if he's out yet. After all, he's delayed us for so long. Otherwise, we would have already soaked in the Xinling imperial pool by now, Mu Yingying hurriedly replied, her expression flustered. After a brief pause, she thought for a moment and continued, but it should be soon. Little E could easily see through Mu Yingying's true thoughts. Her words and actions didn't match, but he chose not to expose her, letting her be. Do you think? Mu Yingying hesitated, her concern showing. Do you think something might have happened to Xiao Yan? It's been a month already. Ever since Mu Yingying entered the river of Do-D and obtained a 7-star Do-D body, she had been on the verge of breaking through to the 5-star Do-D level. She believed that her breakthrough was just around the corner. It's unlikely. For some special reasons, I can sense my big brother's condition, Little E responded confidently. His Do-Chi has become more refined by the day. I think he'll break through soon. As for the special reasons, Little E wasn't going to tell Mu Yingying the full story. I hope so. Anyway, I'll head off now, Mu Yingying said, turning and walking lightly toward the hall's entrance. Sigh, big brother. How will you explain this to your 2 future wives? Little E chuckled softly, knowing that Mu Yingying's flustered expression was just like a shy girl sneaking glances at her love interest. Just as Mu Yingying was about to leave, a massive surge of energy suddenly erupted from the river of Do-D. What's happening? Mu Yingying, already at the door, immediately turned back and rushed to the edge of the river, asking Little E. Big brother is probably coming out today, Little E replied. Both of them turned their attention to the glowing river. At this moment, the river of Do-D was shimmering with golden light, exuding an aura of immortality that filled the entire space. Deep within the river, In a separate dimension? Hee, this kid. I was wondering why it's taking him so long to fuse with the Dodi body. It turns out he had other plans as well, the Immortal Emperor said softly. With his sharp eyes, he naturally understood why Xiao Yan had taken so much time. Not only was he absorbing the immortal body, but he was also consolidating his strength. Xiao Yan's body radiated a powerful aura, the essence of immortality permeating around him. A massive energy giant, hundreds of meters tall, had formed around him, tightly enclosing him in its protective embrace. Normally, even fusing with a 10-star Dodi body would take Xiao Yan only 10 days. But he had extended this process to an entire month, clearly for a specific reason. Xiao Yan knew that ever since arriving in the mystic three heavens, he had constantly fought enemies stronger than himself. Although his strength had grown rapidly, for the sake of long-term stability, he had deliberately slowed down to use the pure energy from the immortal body to solidify his internal Do Qi. After all, a person's limit was closely tied to their foundation. If his foundation were shaken, it would have huge repercussions on his future. Thus, during this fusion process, Xiao Yan had not only absorbed the immortal body but also consolidated his own cultivation, strengthening his Do Qi. It was a win-win situation. "It's time," Xiao Yan murmured, a smile curling at his lips. He suddenly opened his eyes, and a golden aura of immortality flashed across them. As he opened his eyes, Xiao Yan observed the towering immortal body surrounding him and nodded in satisfaction. The terrifying golden light radiating from his body was from this immortal body. With his powerful soul perception, Xiao Yan could clearly feel that the immortal body alone could block the full force attack of a 5-star Dodi expert. As for offense, Xiao Yan was confident that with the combination of the 7-layered Skybreaker ruler, the Lotus of Desolation, and his other techniques, even 5-star Dodi opponents wouldn't pose much of a threat. However, this immortal body seems to be missing something. Xiao Yan muttered after feeling it out carefully. "Heh, you're quite sharp, kid," the Immortal Emperor remarked as he approached Xiao Yan from afar. Xiao Yan responded softly, knowing full well that while he was fusing with the immortal body, his master, the Golden Dragon King, and the Immortal Emperor's remnant soul had been conversing about something. Now, both of them were looking at him with an amused expression, as if they had reached some kind of agreement. "Hee, Immortal Emperor, let's proceed as you said," the Golden Dragon King chuckled. "Kid, do you feel like the immortal body is incomplete?" the Immortal Emperor asked, grinning. "It's not exactly incomplete," Xiao Yan mused. "Even if I push it to its limit, I can only unleash the power of a 9-star Dodi body. To fully activate its potential and reach the level of a 10-star Dodi body, it feels like something's missing." "You're right," the Immortal Emperor smiled slyly. "To push the immortal body to its limits, you'll need the Immortal Sacred Flame to complement it." The Immortal Sacred Flame. Xiao Yan's eyes lit up as he looked intently at the Immortal Emperor. Since the Immortal Emperor mentioned it, it was clear that to fully unleash the immortal body's power, he would need the Immortal Sacred Flame. Even though the Immortal Emperor was just a remnant soul, he certainly knew the whereabouts of the flame, perhaps even the legendary Immortal Golden Flame. This was the Immortal Emperor's most powerful technique. If Xiao Yan could acquire it, it would greatly benefit his future growth. "Senior, do you know where the Immortal Sacred Flame is now?" Xiao Yan asked respectfully, gazing at the unassuming elder before him.